Hello, you guys. It's Josh Vision. I'm here to give you my season one, episode one review of Peaky Blinders. So, great episode. We're introduced to basically the Peaky family. Essentially, the it's not the oldest one who's in charge of the family. Actually, the eldest the eldest sibling name is Arthur Shelby. The second oldest is Thomas Shelby, and I believe the third one is Tommy Shelby, and the fourth one is the 10-year-old or 11-year-old Finn. So the one in charge of the family, surprisingly, isn't the eldest brother, Arthur, is actually Thomas. Thomas is the smartest one, he's the most charismatic one, and he's the one that essentially runs, not just the family business, but also this family business essentially, you know, does illegal activities like racketeering, fake bets. They're also a well known gang in their hometown of Birmingham. All of them served in the war, or at least I believe the two eldest Shelby brothers served in the war, both Thomas and Arthur. And I believe Thomas got a few medals of honor for his courage during the war, which is the series takes place around World War One, right after World War One, in Birmingham, England, around the year 1919. So their town in Birmingham is just really disgusting. Prostitution all over the place, violence, gangs, etc. Blah 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 blah. To begin the episode, we see Thomas Shelby on a horse, and in front of everyone, we see him getting basically having, or I believe he's trying to get this supposed teenage Chinese girl to look into the future about if his horse Montague Boy or Montague Boy is going to win the race, and she blows some red like sand or something. So apparently his brother Arthur was really pissed off about it. He believes that that Thomas is being kind of reckless and careless, that they're running in on the territory of Kimberly, who's I believe is the top guy when it comes to this type of work with racketeering and betting, especially with horses and all that stuff in the racetracks. But Thomas isn't really phased. He's like, listen, you pay, well, not to pay. He says, I'm the one to think, you're the one to fight, etc., etc. We have this chief inspector, apparently from Belfast, Ireland, who's a Catholic. He's bringing his boys from Belfast, 5 foot and up, that are really known great fighters to try to strain out, the corrupt town of Birmingham, England. He has files on Thomas, his brother, as well as, I believe, a former friend and soldier. I forgot his name, but he's a communist apparently, or communistic views. And that guy is apparently sleeping with and dating the Shelby's youngest sister, Ada, who's basically telling family business to this guy. So that's how he knows some of the things that he knows, which kind of catches Thomas off guard a bit, because even Tom, who's the smartest one in the family, and he's kind of wondering where he's getting his intel from. Another character we're introduced to is Aunt Pole, I believe, and she was the one that was running, the family business slash the gang for the 5 years that Arthur and Thomas went to war. What else? I believe that she was the one that Thomas sort of admitted to having the guns. Apparently, he was supposed to just take, the men he hired were supposed to just take, the crates that had patrol engine motorcycles or bikes, but they took the wrong ones due to them being drunk, and they had like ammunitions of guns, all that stuff. And that's what the British Empire at that time is looking for, British government, AKA fudge. I'm trying not to swear, trying to remember what Winston Churchill wants, as well as that chief inspector, wants. Now that I mentioned Winston Churchill, he tells the chief inspector, quite point blank, that this is in Ireland. Any unnecessary violence draws attention to the newspapers and all that stuff. So whatever you got to do it fast, quick, or hurry, and efficiently. So basically, the chief inspector agreed. And we're introduced to the character of Grace. At first, we just see Grace as this probably 20-some-odd-year-old woman who just wants to work at this bar. But obviously, as the episode goes on, we find more about her. We find out that Grace actually worked. Well, not Grace. Her father actually worked with the chief inspector a few years ago. We find out that the IRA people were responsible for her father's death, I believe, and that the chief inspector is going to use Grace as a way to try to take down and imprison the Shelby family. Speaking of the Shelby family, we're introduced to, Arthur Shelby's introduced to the chief inspector during the movie theater when he's with two girlfriends, and the chief inspector's men just savagely beat the crap out of him. He's kind of interrogated. He doesn't tell that much information, and for that he gets his thumb brutally broken, and he just got roughed up real bad. Besides that, in this episode, I think that's all that really happened that was really major in this episode. I may have missed a few things, but those are the major things that came to mind. So that's all I got, you guys. If I missed anything, write it down below in the comments section, and I'll try to remember a lot more for the second episode review. Thank you guys for watching. Josh Vision, adios.